I always believed that family was supposed to be the one place where loyalty was never in question. I grew up in a modest but loving home in Portland, Oregon, with my parents and my younger sister, Emily. We weren't rich, but we had each other, and that was all that mattered, or so I thought. My parents ran a small local grocery store. I helped out whenever I could, while Emily pursued her love for painting. We had different dreams, but we shared a bond, the kind that came from years of late-night talks, whispered secrets, and standing up for each other in tough times. I never imagined that bond could break, but one event shattered it in a way I'll never forget. It all began 2 years ago, when my father announced that he wanted to retire early. "We'll let one of you take over the store," he said, smiling as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Emily and I exchanged glances. I loved the store, and I had been learning its operations for years. Emily, on the other hand, had no interest in running a business, or at least that's what she had always said. But a month later, Dad shocked me. He'd signed over the store to Emily. "She needs a stable income, and you're capable of making it on your own," he explained. My heart sank, but I swallowed my pride. It wasn't about money, it was about the principle. I had put in years of work, only to be bypassed without even a conversation. Emily promised me she would make it fair and involve me in decisions. But soon, she started making big changes without telling me, hiring new staff, changing suppliers, even altering the store's name. I tried to talk to her, but she brushed me off. "It's my store now. You wouldn't understand the vision," she said coldly. That was the first crack in our relationship. Months passed, and I noticed something troubling. Dad's retirement savings were dwindling, and he seemed stressed. When I asked him, he avoided the subject. Eventually, Mom confided in me. Emily had convinced Dad to loan her most of his savings for store renovations, but instead she'd invested it in a friend's startup that had already failed. Dad didn't want to confront her, fearing it would ruin the family. I couldn't believe it. The betrayal was deeper than I thought, not just to me, but to our parents. I confronted Emily, but she turned defensive. "You're just jealous," she snapped. "You've always wanted to be the favorite child." That was the moment I realized we were no longer sisters in the way we once were. The love I felt was buried under layers of anger and hurt. For a while, I distanced myself completely. I focused on building my own life, starting a small cafe with my savings. It wasn't easy, but within a year, it became a local favorite. I found a new purpose and a new circle of people who valued honesty. Then one rainy afternoon, Emily showed up at my cafe. Her store had gone bankrupt, and she was drowning in debt. Her voice trembled as she asked for help. A part of me wanted to turn her away, to make her feel the consequences of her actions. But then I thought about my parents, how much it would hurt them if I closed the door. So I offered her a job. Not out of trust, but out of mercy. "You work hard, you get paid. But this time, we do it my way," I told her. She nodded, humbled in a way I'd never seen before. Months later, things aren't perfect between us, but we're rebuilding. Trust doesn't come back overnight. Sometimes, family betrayal cuts so deep that the scar stays forever. But scars can remind us not only of pain, but also of the strength we had to survive it. I learned that forgiveness isn't about excusing what someone did. It's about choosing peace for yourself. And maybe, just maybe, giving them one last chance to prove they've changed.